Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's community conversation. Excuse the delay for a few minutes. We needed to clarify some last things. With that being said, I really warmly welcome you to today's 30-second community conversation. And we will be looking today in some community resilience projects from Zimbabwe and Bangladesh. And I'm very happy to have today here Abdul Rashid to present, and a team with Logic from ACF in Zimbabwe to present their latest projects and developments, which I think is really great. They will present their work, and then we will go over to some discussions and questions. And please be open to ask questions. Those community conversations are really meant to engage and yeah, be a free forum to speak. And without any further ado, I would hand over to you, Abdul Rashid, to present. And any questions, please use the chat or raise your hand. Over to you, Abdul.
Okay, thank you, Christina, for giving me the opportunity to share our experiences and lessons that we gained from implementing an anticipatory humanitarian action in Bangladesh. I am sharing my PowerPoint presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Before going to the main part, I would like to introduce ourselves. Myself, Abdul Rashid, I work for Anando, and Anando is a national organization based in Dhaka. We work in Bangladesh, and our partnership between WHH, we have started our journey together in 1999. Since then, we have implemented around 20 projects across different thematic areas. That includes livelihood, skill development, agriculture, food security, nutrition, wash, disaster risk reduction, and of course, emergency response. Currently, through the support of WHH, Bangladesh Country Office, we are implementing 3 BMZ funded projects and 1 GFO funded projects. That I already said, Ananda is a non-profit, non-political organization. And we started our journey in Bangladesh in 1997. We are a registered organization in government regulatory body like NGO Affairs Bureau, Microcredit Regulatory Authority. Currently, we are implementing 12 projects. And so far, we have reached 2 million people. Annual turnover is Bangladeshi taka 300 million. And right now we are implementing the humanitarian project. Our program coverage, we give focus on the coastal areas and also the most climate impacted areas in Bangladesh. That includes Cox's Bazar, that hosts more than 1 million Rohingya refugees. We implement a wash related humanitarian project there. And also Chattogram hill districts, that hill region, there are many ethnic population. We provide water, food, nutrition services for them. We work at Satkhira coastal region, where Sundarban is located, the world's biggest mangrove forest, and also Jamalpur district, which is near to the river, the biggest river in Bangladesh, Jamuna, and also Feni. All of the locations are climate vulnerable. So now I come to the main part, the overview of anticipatory humanitarian action. Our project title was Strengthening Community Resilience and Readiness in Response to Anticipated Monsoon Flood in Jamalpur, Bangladesh. someone may be it is little bit confusing that why this is the response. This response means that does not means post disaster response. This response is anticipatory response. I mean anticipatory action. The objective of our project was to increase the resilience of vulnerable population who are exposed to an anticipated flood. And our location that I already mentioned in Jamalpur district, and the hazard we addressed, riverine monsoon flood. Our lead time was 30 days for readiness actions and 10 days for anticipatory actions. Under the readiness action, there were several meeting and awareness messaging, risk communication activities, and the anticipatory action includes multi-purpose cash assistance to vulnerable families, upgradation and repairment of community toilets, repairment of semi-functional or non-functional tube wells. And total directly we supported 500 households, but indirectly we have supported around 200 to 2,000 households. The project was supported by WHH, and the total amount of the project was 44,975 euros, and the total duration was 15 months because there was a lot of preparedness activities. That's why we took a longer time. And why we select Jamalpur? Jamalpur is in among the 64 district, Jamalpur holds the second position regarding disaster impact according to climate-related multi-hazard risk index. And Jamalpur is highly vulnerable to flooding and river bank erosion because it is very close adjacent to the river. And also, the Jamalpur ranks 9th in socioeconomic vulnerability index, making it a very high risk zone. And there are half of the population were women, and they are all marginalized and poor segment of the society. In the right side, you can see a map where there are risk zoning. We got this map from Start Network Bangladesh. There are red marked areas that these areas are high risk zone, and you can see that under the circle, two union were selected. These areas are very close to the river, and also these are the high risk zone identified by Start Network. Now comes how and when we decide to intervene. According to the trigger model developed by Start Network, I would say a trigger model was developed by Start Network. We actually, as an implementing organization, we actually don't have that much technical knowledge or expertise to develop a trigger model, understand the threshold, limits, lead time, and any other data-driven decision making. We rely on, we depend on the expert organization like Start Network. And also WHH, country office, and HQ have provided us support to understand the trigger model and guide us when and how to intervene. Based on the trigger model activation process, we started our readiness action before 30 days of the peak flooding. And we started our anticipatory action. That means anticipatory cash assistance disbursement among households that we started before 10 days of peak flooding time. And for deciding when to start these kind of activities, we coordinate with Start Network, WHH, and also Bangladesh government have a flood forecasting warning center They provide regular bulletin, and they provide graphs, chart, and information about flood water level rising. We collect those information and consult with Start Network and WHH uh, so that we can avoid any false trigger. And our activation is based on evidences. So how that coordination mechanism looks? We started coordination meeting with local authorities and also union and upazila level disaster management committees to communicate the intervention with the community, identify project participant, and determine areas of need. And also we have started communication and coordination with INGOs, UN, and other stakeholders, especially Start Network, Anticipatory Action Working Group, and agencies who are present or working in the same region, so that we can avoid any duplication, service overlapping. In the diagram, you can see Bangladesh government developed an early action protocol that we also adopted, and also Start Network developed a contingency plan, that is CP. We um, we try to adhere with these documents, and also we got information, flood monitoring, and automated generated data from flood forecasting warning center. We regularly monitor the forecast products like bulletin and reports about flood rising, and also we blended these information with our human judgment and scenario-based approach were applied, so that together we can decide when to activate the trigger and when to intervene. And after communicating these information and localized human judgment and scenario-based approach, we communicated with WHH team, and based on these evidence and information, WHH released funding, and then we have disbursed the assistance to pre-selected households. So how we select the project participant and ensure the community engagement. In the target areas, there are more than 80,000 individual, and there are more than 2,700 households that are very much exposed to flood risk. Among them, we conducted several participatory rural appraisal, wealth ranking, and facilitated these community meetings so that community people themselves, they can decide which households are more vulnerable and which household deserve the assistance. And selection for the selection criteria, we have given priority to the poor people who have women-headed, the people having a person with disability, and who have elderly people, pregnant and lactating mothers, and have many children. As I already said, the project was implemented for 15 months. We implemented several preparedness activities um, like community risk assessment and preparing risk reduction action plan and validation workshop and capacity building of local disaster management committees. And we also supported community volunteers so that they can prepare themselves for any kind of search and rescue. And we also provided these local bodies with search and rescue materials. And we also identified the beneficiaries, who will be the beneficiaries, and we have also identified the semi and non-functional tubules and latrines. After when the trigger is met and a readiness is activated, then we started the construction and repairment of toilet and latrines. And then when second trigger, activation, anticipatory action trigger activated, then we distributed the pre-selected household the entitled money to their mobile money accounts. So you can see in this slide that community people's participation in the community risk assessment process. The next picture you can see here the meeting and training with the disaster management committees. And here you can see the in the left side you can see the initial stage of the water sources, and the right side you can see the after intervention, after repairment of the water sources. In this slide, you can see in the left side, before intervention, the status of latrines, and after intervention, we have improved the latrines. Finally, the cash assistance distribution event. In the prominent place of that region, we engage the government authority and set up the distribution point at the government offices, so that this is also very familiar to the community people, and there are good communication, so easily they can go there and collect their money. We have also available mobile money disbursement agents, so that beneficiaries can instantly cash out their money. So what we achieved through this intervention, the impact we gained, that the loans and debts due to disaster have been reduced, and gender-based violence has been reduced. The community is aware of the benefits of anticipatory action rather than post-disaster actions, reduced risk of waterborne diseases as we repaired water sources, increased resilience of the community to floods. At the end of all sorts of programs, we conducted a post-distribution monitoring to assess the relevance, appropriateness, impact, and community satisfaction. So we got respondents' feedback. They, according to their feedback, 100% respondent told us that this is 100% appropriate and relevant assistance. And also we assess the transparency level. Respondents were asked whether they had to pay any fee, gift, or service, or give any favor in return of being included as project participant. So all of the respondents replied with positive expression. And we assessed the level of satisfaction. 86% of respondents were fully satisfied, 4% were partially dissatisfied. For an example, I would say some household respondents say that my demand was 10,000 taka, but you provided me only 6,000 taka, which is not sufficient. That's why I am partially dissatisfied. And we also assess the utilization of money. According to the respondents, The highest amount of cash assistance directly goes to purchasing food, and 9%, second highest cash assistance goes to medical expenses, such as doctor fees or medicine cost, and third highest amount goes to purchasing productive asset like goat. And there are other spending sector like education, agriculture, savings, shelter repair, transportation, loan repayment, house. And we also assess the impact level according to beneficiaries' perception. 47% of the respondents reported that the assistance had a significant positive effect on their household, but the remaining 53% respondent reported that no significant effect on their household, since we are actually giving them one installment of the cash assistance, and for only 1 month. Uh, Accountability to affected population. We have ensured several feedback entry points like face-to-face community meeting, monitoring visit, complaint box, and and people know about our feedback entry mechanism. According to respondents, 82% people understand the complaint response mechanism, and through this mechanism, we have collected uh, 173 feedback. All are about request for information, request for assistance. The challenges, because in the flood-prone areas, only boat are available, and there is no buses, no train, and no other vehicles. And uh, people living in Chor area, Chor means a river island, where it is very difficult to reach. And quick procurement, because the lead time is very short to start the readiness action, only 30 days, and for uh, anticipatory action, the lead time was only for 10 days. So quick procurement and logistics arrangement were difficult. And also coordination with government authority is always difficult because they influence the beneficiary selection process. Internal migration due to flooding is another challenge, because people uh, who predict that flood is coming, they move to another place. And also limited number of staff, and definitely mobile money transfer to the village level poor people. They don't understand ICT. They have limited financial and digital literacy, so they don't understand how to set up mobile money account, how to cash out, how to preserve, and don't how to preserve the PIN code. So these are the challenges. So what lessons we have learned? Um, An appropriate process of documentation and community engagement can improve trust and transparency. We have prepared a, beneficiary selection list, and inserted the list at the community visible place so that community people can review and check, and they understand the process is transparent, so that the trust is improved. And also reaching the remote places created opportunity for the families who had remained excluded from humanitarian assistance, but at the same time, it increased the workload on staff because they had to go extra miles to reach them. And also unconditional cash assistance allows project participant freedom of spending. Instant cash out facility at the distribution center ensured that the entitled project participant got the money in their hand without any delay. And also selecting the Union Parishad complex, this is a government office at local level, as a distribution point that increased the sense of safety and security. So from the community people, there are some recommendation that there are many other people who are extremely vulnerable, around 2,070 people in that location. We have supported only 500 families. So they also, the other excluded families need support, similar support. And a continuation of similar cash grant in the future will help beneficiaries fulfill their basic needs and their other priorities before the next predictable monsoon flood. And that I already said, project staff experienced new things such as technological errors in opening mobile money transfer account. So basic financial literacy training is needed if we design next or a similar kind of project next time. We need to think about adding basic financial literacy training for the participant. Now all slides are okay. Now I would like to share a short video for not more than 5 minutes. Please allow me. And this is video.
Bangladesh is extremely vulnerable to floods due to its complex river systems. Constant and recurring flood in Bangladesh creates a significant hazard to the country's 170 million people. Its downstream location from the Himalayas, along with its low height of less than 7 feet above sea level, makes flooding more severe. As a result, Bangladesh has become the world's 7th most disaster-prone country, according to the Global Climate Risk Index. Jamalpur district is one of the most disaster-prone areas in Bangladesh, which is especially vulnerable to flooding and erosion of riverbanks. Moderate floods happen every 4 to 5 years on average and affect half of the district every year. The monsoonal floods have become more unpredictable and intense due to climate change, exceeding the capacities of the local communities to cope. The consequences are severe, with frequent loss of life, damage to property, and long-term disruption of livelihoods, leading to significant humanitarian challenges. People living in low-lying chor areas suffer the most, with homes submerged, clean water supplies cut off, and the spread of waterborne diseases, all of which can be deadly without timely actions. In 2024, severe flooding was forecasted along the Jamuna River, which runs through Jamalpur district. The continuous heavy rainfall in northwestern Bangladesh, combined with upstream water flow, heighten the risk of disaster. The Flood Forecasting and Warning Center FFWC provided real-time data on rising water levels, guiding humanitarian organizations to take anticipatory actions based on scientific evidence and predefined thresholds. These actions were activated and guided by a predefined trajectory which comes from forecast-based anticipatory impact analysis. Wealth Hunger Hilfi WHH, in partnership with local organization Anando, responded with anticipatory actions designed to protect vulnerable families before the floodwaters arrived. Once the flood risk thresholds were met, WHH released funding. This allowed Anando to distribute multi-purpose cash grants to 500 of the most at-risk families in 2 unions, Pingna and Pogoldigha, under the Shorishabari sub-district in Jamalpur. Each family received 6,060 Bangladeshi taka transferred through the mobile money service bKash. The cash transfers enabled families to purchase essential items such as food, medicine, and other necessities, helping them prepare for the worst before the floodwaters arrived. As the floodwaters began rising on July 3rd, exceeding danger levels, Anando activated additional preparedness activities based on district-level contingency plans and the National Monsoon Flood Early Action Protocol. These readiness actions included working with the local union disaster management committees, conducting participatory risk assessments, and training community volunteers to assist with emergency communication and rescues. Animal vaccine camps were also organized to protect livestock, which is a key source of livelihood for many small farmers in the region. Protecting the animals helped ensure that farmers could recover more quickly after the floods subsided. Additionally, Anundo assessed semi-functional tube wells and latrines, providing repair materials and assigning local plumbers to ensure clean water and sanitation facilities were available during and after the flooding. The project team conducted an inspection of the flood shelters and identified significant inadequacies in the facilities, with an urgent need for repairs. In the response, Ananda supplied essential repair materials and coordinated a team of skilled plumbers and construction workers to restore and enhance the wash facilities in the shelter. Anando also provided rescue and recovery materials to the local disaster management committees to help them improve their capacities for community awareness, emergency evacuation, and rescue during the monsoon. In Jamalpur, women, who make up around 51% of the population, are particularly vulnerable during disasters. When floods submerge homes and latrines, women face significant challenges in maintaining privacy, hygiene, and personal safety. Many struggle with basic needs like sleeping arrangements, bathing, and managing menstrual hygiene. After implementing the anticipatory actions and distribution of assistance, a post-distribution monitoring study was conducted to evaluate how the cash grants were used and assess the overall effectiveness of the project. The results showed that anticipatory actions reached vulnerable families faster, with fewer costs, and provided more dignified assistance than traditional post-disaster responses. By acting before the flood hit, the project was able to reduce losses and help families safeguard their livelihoods, showing the effectiveness of proactive measures in disaster management. The anticipatory action of WHH and Anundo saves lives and livelihoods. These actions are most cost-effective and empower communities to protect themselves with dignity. The experience in Jamalpur illustrates the need for a shift in the humanitarian sector towards early action, allowing aid organizations to respond faster, more efficiently, and more proactively to predictable crises like seasonal floods.
Thank you for your time and patience. Over to Christina.
Thank you so much. That was very insightful. I would say we open shortly the round for questions. If anyone has some questions or comments. If not, I would just hand over to Logic and Anna to present, and then we can also have some time to have more questions or anything. Over to you, Anna and Logic. Hello.
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Angeline, can you try to share our slides?
Abdur, you may have to stop sharing first so they can share their slides.
Hello, hi, Anna. Can you see my screen now?
Yes. Can you
All
put on
right.
slideshow, please? Okay. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Possibly good morning to colleagues joining us from across the Anticipation Hub community. And thank you so much for the opportunity for us to share our lessons learned in developing the locally led anticipatory actions in Zimbabwe. My name is Anna Matsika. I'm the Deputy Country Director at Action Against Hunger, based here in Zimbabwe. And today we are joined by Logic Stole, who is the Food Security and Livelihoods Manager from our local partner that we worked closely with on this project. Called Nutrition Action Zimbabwe, and we also have our ACF FSL Deputy Manager here as well. So I'll just provide a brief overview of the project, and Logic and Angeline will share the rest of the presentation with you. So over the 18 months from January 2024 to July 2025. Our teams worked closely with local authorities, particularly the Department of Civil Protection, WFP and WHH, in implementing a project called Localizing Early Warning and Anticipatory Action Systems in Zimbabwe. Our focus was mainly in 3 districts, which are Chiredzi, Mwenezi, and Kariba. And these 3 districts represent some of the most climate-exposed areas in the country, where droughts and floods are no longer just a seasonal event, but really overlapping realities affecting food, nutrition, and livelihoods for those communities. This project sought to achieve mainly 3 things. Firstly, to build community-owned anticipatory action plans that blend both scientific trigger models with indigenous knowledge. And Angeline and Logic will be able to share some of the key lessons coming out of trying to do that blended approach of scientific trigger models with indigenous knowledge systems. Secondly, we sought to strengthen coordination between the national, district, and community actors so that early warning leads to early actions. And lastly, we wanted to also test real activations using both cash and in-kind assistance to see what actually works ahead of a crisis. The results that we have seen over the 18 months have been both practical and deeply instructive. And I think even at a national level, it has helped to shape how we do anticipatory action as a country. We have seen strong ownership at community level, where persons with living disability, women, youth, the elderly both participated in designing their own local plans, which was really important even during the activations, as you hear in the presentation. We've also seen the power of collaboration between the humanitarian actors, the scientists, the government, and in one of the districts, particularly in Chiredzi, we were working with a minority group, an ethnic group. So seeing the integration between scientists and indigenous groups to translate data into decisions that saves lives and protect livelihoods was really an empowering moment for the project. But we have also learned the hard truths around how challenging it is to model, for instance, flash floods and how vital government resourcing is for sustainability, and how much continued capacity building is needed to ensure these scientific triggers are trusted and understood. So today's session, we hope to be able to share some of these key lessons of what really worked and what didn't work. We have a number of things also that didn't work and what we can do better, possibly as a global anticipatory action community. So I'll hand over now to Logic and Angeline, over to you, Logic.
Thank you, Anna. So yeah, I will just move straight to what worked well during our development of anticipatory action plans for drought and floods. So firstly, centering community perceptions, knowledge, and capacities worked well because it improved ownership and participation of communities. And then the information exchange, learning and coordination at national and district level was also good because it improved coordination and collaboration at all stages. It also enhanced ownership of the anticipatory action plans that we were developing. Then there was collaboration between the anticipatory action community of practice and WAFA partners in country to set triggers and to standardize on tools and approaches to use during the AAP development process. So the collaboration with the WFP and government of Zimbabwe was key for the trigger model. So for us, we are using the WFP Ready, Set, Go trigger model for drought. So there was great collaboration where WFP constantly comes in to capacitate our staff and stakeholders whenever there is need. Then there is the exploration and recognition of indigenous knowledge systems and existing local-led actions also improved on the ownership and participation of local communities, because the bigger objective of the project was to try and localize anticipatory actions, localize early warning systems. So it was also key for us to explore and recognize the indigenous knowledge systems besides the scientific models, that trigger models that we use. It was also important for us to recognize the IKS. Then the active participation of stakeholders and communities in AAP development was also key in ensuring sustainability and ensuring ownership of the anticipatory action plans. Next slide. Okay, I'll continue with what worked well. So the continuous support, we had continuous support from the WHH team, WHH Germany and WHH Zimbabwe, where they provided capacity building in form of training of partners, training of staff, project staff, and the continuous provision of technical support during implementation. It was very important. It was key as it improved implementation and programming. Then the representation of the most vulnerable groups at all stages, and these include the people with disabilities, the elderly, the women, the child-aided households, in community consultations for the AAP development process. So you find that we would do some focus group discussions to ensure that these people are able to participate freely and their input is captured in the anticipatory actions, because some of their needs are different from the other people. So yeah, we ensured that their participation is captured in the development of the AAP. Then there was the training of stakeholders, local leaders, and community structures on disaster risk reduction and anticipatory actions, the scientific trigger models, and prevention of sexual exploitation and abuse in emergencies, which was also very key, because besides just the development of anticipatory action plans, the concept of anticipatory actions is still new in Zimbabwe. So it was very key for us to capacitate them. So it really worked well as well. And then I'll move on to the trigger mechanisms that we're using. And for droughts, we were using like I mentioned earlier, we were using the WFP Ready, Set, Go trigger model, which was developed by WFP. So we would monitor the dashboards. I think everyone was given access to the dashboard of that model. So it supports preparedness stages at the ready level and activations when reaching the set and go. That's where the name comes from, the ready, set, go model. So each month it is assessed if SPI values lie below a set threshold, which then leads to the districts being marked as ready or set. And then go, we are already getting in to implement the anticipatory actions. So that map on the right shows, if you open that dashboard, this is how it looks like. Those districts with R, they are in red mode, which have yellow, they are in red mode. So this is it's just a snippet or a picture of the model. Okay, then for floods, we were using the Global Flood Awareness System, the GLOFAS, and this one monitors riverline, mostly the riverine floods. It's used for monitoring and forecasting riverine floods. It provides a range of flood information, which includes medium and extended range probabilistic flood forecasts for major river basins. And also it provides rapid flood risk assessments and seasonal outlook summaries for major river basins for up to 4 months. So it provides real-time flood monitoring. But the challenge with this, it's limited to only riverine floods and does not work for flash floods, which are mostly experienced in the communities that we work with. So on the right, you can see a picture of how the model looks. If you open it, that's how it looks like. Then I'll move on to challenges and lessons learned. And for this, I will hand you over to my colleague, Angeline. You can take that up.
Thank you, Logic. So I'll present on the challenges. One of the significant challenges we faced were the sparse network of weather stations and the lack of localized models, which complicated our ability to produce reliable community-level flood warnings. Also, communities in these regions are predominantly affected by flash floods, events that are particularly difficult to forecast. So whilst the GLOFAS flood model is valuable, it primarily focused on riverine floods and could not adequately address the complexities of flash flooding. Therefore, we could say that there is a pressing need to develop a dedicated trigger model for the flash floods. Additionally, it's critical to observe the coping strategies that the communities have already adopted in response to flooding. So by recognizing and supporting these existing strategies, we can enhance overall resilience. Also, we need to acknowledge the local knowledge systems regarding flood indicators. Communities, they often rely on their own observations of rain patterns and identification of usual heavy rains. So integrating this indigenous knowledge will strengthen our anticipatory actions as well. So even if we successfully developed a monitoring and trigger system for flash floods, the window of time to act ahead of impact, it is extremely limited. So whilst the project has assisted in developing anticipatory action plans and the district civil protection committees, they often struggle with resource constraints, making it difficult for them to implement anticipatory actions without external support. So therefore, there's a pressing need to advocate for policy changes that incorporate anticipatory actions and AAPs at national level, ensuring that the government allocates necessary resources for these initiatives. Additionally, some stakeholders and community members still they do not fully understand how the scientific trigger model works, particularly in situations where triggers are not met. So this lack of understanding can lead to mistrust of partners, affecting both flood and drought responses, and consequently, further capacity building is essential. So it is important to note that stakeholders, they often perceive the implementation of readiness activities as confirmation of trigger activation, which may lead to misunderstandings that need to be addressed. I would say, as part of our efforts to support vulnerable communities, we implemented 2 rounds of fuel funding. In 2024, we provided cash assistance to over 3,000 individuals, benefiting from more than 600 households. This support was crucial in helping families meet their immediate needs. Then in 2025, we shifted our focus to in-kind assistance, distributing food commodities to over 3,000 individuals, aiding more than 800 households. So additionally, we supported 33 farmers by providing indigenous chicken starter packs. This initiative also aimed to enhance the community's resilience and improve food nutrition and security by promoting some dietary diversity. So these efforts were designed to strengthen our community's resilience, so that they will be able to withstand and recover from future challenges. Let me move on to implementation, what worked well. I would say our anticipatory response has significantly strengthened the community capacities. Post-distribution monitoring surveys have been invaluable, providing critical feedback on the effectiveness of our interventions, as this information could help us refine our strategies for future actions. Then the full participation of stakeholders and community members in development of our anticipatory actions is enhanced ownership and involvement during the implementation of actions. So to ensure active participation and collaboration, we have conducted inception, review, and closeout meetings with stakeholders, and these forums encouraged our dialogue, open dialogue, and we managed to share some insights. Additionally, we've implemented feedback and complaint mechanisms to ensure accountability within our processes, and this enabled communities to voice their concerns and experiences. We also recognized that assistance modalities sometimes need to be adjusted based on regulatory frameworks. For instance, whilst the cash assistance was preferred, it was generally a preferred option. Government regulations prevented the use of cash in 2025. It is crucial to assess the type of flooding, whether riverine or flash, and we must also ensure that sufficient early warning mechanisms are in place to define and monitor appropriate trigger thresholds, and also collaborating closely with affected communities alongside partnerships between local and international NGOs allows for mutual support and helps strengthen existing coping mechanisms. And this collaboration is essential for our community resilience as well. And lastly, we can note that it's important to review the drought AAPs in relation to the timing of triggers. For example, the October to December window, it coincides with the agricultural season, whilst the January and March window aligns with the harvesting period. So adjustments in our strategies according to these timelines can significantly impact effectiveness. Thank you. I will leave to my colleagues if they have anything to share, to add. Thank you, Logic.
You have said it all, nothing more from my side.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We have still 3 minutes. If anyone has any questions or comments, please feel free to ask away. It doesn't seem like it. Then it's only for me to say thank you so much to Logic, Angeline, Anna, Abdul Rashid for your presentation. It is very impressive to see what has been going on in the countries. And thank you, and I hope to see you again. And it's a big learning for every one of us. I wish you all a good day or a good afternoon wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.